Welcome to the Reminisce with Lauren Mann podcast, the place where we talk about the good old days, share anecdotes, and hear the wisdom and stories of older people. Here is your host, multi-award winning carer and entrepreneur, Lauren Mann.
So thank you so much for talking to me.
Oh, it's all right.
How are you both?
Well,
Sort
you
of.
know,
Been better, been worse.
you know,
We
we're
can't
being looked
grumble,
after.
as
We're
the
in the
old
best
saying
place.
goes.
Yeah.
We didn't like to sell the house and have all those things you have to do, but you know, got to be paid for.
It's sad because we had a lovely
We
bungalow,
had a lovely
nice
place to live.
village. Do you know Navenby?
Yeah, I know Navenby. I know of it, yeah.
Yeah.
So you've been together for a long time then. How did you two meet?
I knew his sister for 2 years because she married my cousin,
Right.
who was the lad everybody wanted to marry.
Oh.
He was tall, dark and handsome, really was. And I went, oh, it's my cousin, you know. To me, it was just another lad. And then one day, so she married my cousin, so I knew her for 2 years. Then one day she said, hey, she rang me up and she said, hey, come into my party. She had a baby girl. She married my cousin and they had a baby girl. And she said, I'm having a christening party. Will you come and help? And I went, oh, it's going to be full of aunties and uncles. I was 18. And she said, oh, please come and help. So she says, you can meet my brother. I said, I didn't know he'd got a brother. I'd known her 2 years. Anyway, I went and met Fred because he'd just come out of the forces.
Yeah, and so that was a long time ago, wasn't it?
Yeah. And we had a dance because she had a big party, you know. And that was it.
63 years ago.
Oh.
64, I know, I can't believe it because I wasn't going to
Yeah,
bother with men.
64.
No?
I was having too much fun with my girlfriend and going places. And he says, right, well, we knew straight away there was something special about it when we met. And I liked him because he wasn't what I call a boozy man, or not saying nothing against boozing, but I just liked him. And then within a day or two, I loved him.
Oh.
Thing is, my sister was a nurse, so of course all her friends were nurses. And Gail said, when everybody cleared off from the party, all the older ones went.
In those days, they all
Then
went to
all
the
the
pub.
nurses were talking, and Gail felt out of it, and I'd had to go more or less compulsory with the lads to the pub.
More or less compulsory.
More or less, which I didn't want to do. So all the time I'm there thinking, oh, I wish we could get back to the house. You know, I hope she's still going to be there. And she was thinking more or less the same. I wish they'd already
I thought I'd come back.
So anyway, I did, and that's it. We met, and it's been good.
We
ever
arranged a
since.
date for the following week because he lived in Nottingham
Right.
and I didn't. Nottinghamshire I lived in, but it's about 18 miles away, was it? 15?
Yeah, something like that. She says the thing that clinched it for her, we got on the bus to go back home, and the bus pulled up at Huthwaite on the Market Square, and it always stood there for a few minutes. And that's where I got off, and Gail had to stay on the bus to go to where she lived.
Further along.
So I got off the bus, and I thought, I can't leave it like this. So she's looking forward to sort of wave because she's upstairs.
I'm looking from the top
So
floor to
I
wave
come back
to him.
on the bus, and I came up behind her, and I tilted her head, and I kissed her.
From bit.
And she said,
I'm looking down here for him to wave to him cheerio off the top of the bus.
and I didn't say anything. I just said, I'll write to you. And she said that kiss was the one that did it.
That was it, because there's kisses and there's kisses.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
was so.
What can you say?
And I never believed in all that mush about
So it was
romantic
nice.
meetings and things.
But yeah, we've been together ever since.
64 years, 5 children. So
That's
we've had a lovely life. And
7 grandchildren.
whatever happens now, that can't be taken away from us.
Yeah.
No,
And the
we've
kids
lived
are
a
all
life.
6 foot and got their own children, a lot of them.
We've got a lovely family. We've been very fortunate. I mean, but during our lives together, we've shown the kids a lot of love, and they've returned it now because they come and visit and they do everything for us. They organise everything. If I've got, things I can't see anymore, I can't read, dealing with the councils and all the paperwork and everything that goes with it. And they come and they live in Lincoln, well, one of my daughters lives in the village where we live. So it's always a journey, but they'll come and do it. They're coming tomorrow, crack of dawn, just to take us into town to the dentist, and we'll go for a meal. And they still do so much for us, you know.
That's
They are
wonderful.
good
They're a
kids.
really nice family. Really.
We never had a lot of money, and Fred went to work 12 days a week, 7 days a week for 12 years.
For quite a while.
And didn't have a day off.
Wow.
And to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to go to work.
Wow. What did you do for a living?
My best job was I used to get up and go to the farms to pick up the milk.
Oh.
In the churns.
And that's why I had to start early.
The
But I
lovely
also
job.
finished early. But like Gail said, I don't think it was quite 12 years, but I did work quite a long time, 7 days a week, because that was the nature of it. Cows want milking every day.
Yeah.
It has to go to the dairy, and that was the way it was. So for a lot of Christmases, the kids had to wait for me to come home.
I made them wait for the
before they got
presents.
the presents. So,
Wait till your dad comes home and be
Yeah,
home
no.
about
but
12.
it was a job I loved. I absolutely loved it.
Oh, that's
And
wonderful.
you get around the farms, and because, you know, with young family and all that, we'd often get a bag of potatoes, some eggs and all that kind of stuff. And I'd sometimes help farmers with cows that were stuck in a pen, and we'd rope them and pull them out. And it was, you know,
It was
it
nice.
was an interesting job. I loved it.
It's a way of life, isn't it?
Yeah,
farming?
so,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but
And
it
we
was
used
one
to
of
get a lot
those,
of food. You bring a bag of spuds home or
get to work
dozen
and,
eggs.
yeah, it was nice.
When you're bringing a family up, that helps.
You need
yeah.
the food, yeah.
But we know sort of growing up in the 40s how it is to be sort of go without, because obviously we lived through all the rationing and all that kind of stuff that went on then. So, but I can remember taking a ration book to the shop right up to being 15.
Can you?
Obviously things were a lot better then. It was just the odd thing then.
Yeah.
But at first, you know, we had to. There was nothing like bananas and oranges and all that kind of stuff. So we knew what it was like to be without. We were a scruffy old bunch. All the kids on the estate were really scruffy.
But they were happy.
But we were happy. We had lovely little gangs together.
Like
It
just
was-
after the war, and
yeah,
war
everybody was
babies,
poor,
Yeah.
you know, because we'd just gone through a war,
Yeah.
and there was no materials about. So I had shoes, but I could only wear them on a Sunday.
Things
In the
like
week,
that.
I had to wear big boots,
Really?
the sort of thing like, and the heels had like a metal thing that went round the heel, sort of. Let me show you. They had an iron thing that went round there like that, made of
To make them
steel,
last.
and they had studs in, all the metal studs.
You'd hear you coming then.
Yeah, well, they could, because as lads we used to make them spark.
That
Yeah,
was fun.
that
My
was
brothers
fun.
used
So
to do. I got 3
it was
brothers.
a long time before you even got to the Zols, but they just had to last, you know.
Yeah.
But we were all the same, so it didn't really matter. But so you know, we know
You got by.
must have been
I was a bit like
hard for our parents, you know, struggling and all that. But we did it,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's been good ever since.
So were you both born in the same year, or?
I was born in 42.
I was born in 40.
Oh,
So
quite close.
he
Yeah.
come along to look after me 2 years, and then
2
I
years
came
later.
to join him.
Oh.
But we didn't meet until I was, how old was I?
18,
18, and you were
21.
21. He was
Yeah.
very handsome. He had the loveliest blue eyes. So he's
I had
still
a
handsome.
lot of hair then. Got none left now.
Bless you.
I had dark hair then.
But yeah, we've been very lucky.
We are.
We've been lucky with the children. We brought them up with not a lot of money, but it all went on them, and we gave them good values. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, the things that be nice to people, you know, and things like that, and don't take.
And they are
any
nice. They're
rubbish.
lovely kids, aren't they?
Yeah.
So yeah, we've been fortunate.
That's special. Have you travelled anywhere in your time? Have you been
I'm
on?
terrified of flying.
Are
We've
you?
never ever been abroad.
You've never been abroad.
And I
Never
said to
ever,
Fred,
no.
"You go if you want. I don't mind, but I can't." I actually went to a place where they were talking about flying,
Okay.
and the minute I sat down, and I just goosebumps all over. I actually went to the doctors, and as soon as I started talking about flying, I got these big goosebumps. He says, "You really got phobia, and I can't fly. I just can't."
No.
It was at the time, as I remember, trying to take her blood pressure. And when she talked about flying, her blood sugar.
Gosh.
And then he said, "Oh, I better take it again now." He said,
When she
"Right,
stopped
you're not
talking about
flying."
it,
He said, "We won't talk about flying."
and
I
it
said,
went
"I'll
back
take
down
it
again.
again." It went back to normal.
Isn't it
So
funny?
I would never force her to fly. But having said that, we've been obviously Scotland, Wales.
We love Scotland.
Yes, I was
all
going to
this
ask,
stuff.
have you
There's
had
some-
good UK holidays
Yeah.
then?
There's some beautiful places in this country to go to, and in Scotland and Wales. Never been to Ireland.
We used to stand looking at the views
Oh, it
on a
was
Sunday morning. We were at one place, it's Sunday morning, 9 o'clock. The coach shipper took us out early to catch the sun coming up. Oh, it was absolutely beautiful. There's nowhere nicer if you don't want to fly abroad.
Yeah,
Scotland.
Scotland.
Yeah, we've sat at the back of the ferry when we've been to Colonsay Island and watched the sun go down over the sea. So we've done some nice things.
That's
We've
lovely.
had some
Just simple
beautiful
things,
holidays.
and they don't cost money, half of them.
No,
We went
but-
to Scotland for about 10 years, about
And
twice
the kids
a year.
used to say, "Why don't you go somewhere else?" I said, "We just love Scotland so much," and we went to a different place for 10 years. Lovely, wasn't it?
It's a beautiful country. It is.
Yeah,
It's
got
stunning.
albums full of them.
So if you ever
Aw.
go, you want to go up the west coast because that's the warmest.
Yeah,
Okay.
up to Gairloch and
Gets,
places.
it's really nice.
Oh,
No.
I like
But Wales is
Gairloch.
very similar.
Did
you
you go
know.
in the car then, or did you go on trips, or
Yeah,
with
we
the
I
camper
did.
van?
Yeah,
At
used
one
to-
time we had a car,
we had
a van for Fred's work, and a truck.
we had all stack apart vehicles at one time.
And I tried to learn driving. One of my brothers, not with us now, bless him, and he took us to a disused airway.
Airfield.
So there was all these blooming runways. I'd got all this space to learn to drive, and all the kids were in the back. And as soon as Mick, my brother, got out of the driving seat, so I could get in the driving seat, all the kids disappeared. Oh, if Mum's going to try and
Didn't
learn,
have
we're
much
not.
faith
We're
in
off.
you then.
We're off.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, bless
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, but they're all good kids. So.
They are, they're lovely.
I
Oh.
can't wait to see Dawn, our daughter Dawn. She had twin girls,
Oh.
and they went to the husband, lovely bloke, husband a bit a lot like Fred, not to look at, but his nature. He's a caring bloke. He's lovely. We were very lucky with our all three son-in-laws.
Yeah, we've got three lovely son-in-laws. Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, three of
They've
them.
all, there were three lads that grew up together from children and were friends and became more like brothers.
Oh, that's
And then they
wonderful.
met our three daughters and they married them.
Went out it was purely by chance because the girls were in a car being took to this dance, and the lads who were in their own car were following, going, you know, where shall we go and all that. And they said, "Oh, follow that car. It's got three girls in it." So they did, and the girls were going to a dance. So the lads went and followed them, and that's how they all met. It's very romantic, in a way.
Funny how things happen.
They're all
isn't it?
been happy
Yeah,
for
yeah.
got to be 40 odd years now, and they've got children of their own all grown up.
Like she said, they had one of my daughters had twin girls and they
They 40
travelled
now.
the world. They went everywhere. They've been
Wow.
all around the world. And then they decided to settle in New Zealand.
Ah,
Couldn't get any further away.
They went to
could they?
Malaysia teaching in the jungles.
They've
wow.
done all
sorts of
sorts,
things.
yeah.
Very adventurous.
And,
I envied them really because I never did fly or anything like that.
Do you think your fear of flying came from a certain
I've
event? or
Tried to
something?
trace it back and I can't. So,
No.
because we never flew when I was growing up. There was that £10 POM ticket, and we almost went, and as a family when I was growing up, and they wouldn't tell my parents where we were going to be put down, and it's a big place, New Zealand.
Yeah.
Or was this Australia? No, this was Australia, wasn't it?
Australia, yeah, it would be. yeah.
Before New Zealand came along. So he wouldn't go. So I was still here. And if the family had gone to, I wouldn't have met Fred. So I'd have stayed.
So you never know.
Well, it's
What's
funny
intended.
how things a line,
Yeah,
isn't
you-
it, for you?
How they turn out, yeah.
I always think there's a big book somewhere and your life's written in it.
Yeah.
That'd be
Somewhere.
interesting.
You
Well,
can't beat families if you look at it and you get a good family life and you work at it.
Family
Not too
life.
much, you know, but just do the right things, set the foundations, and then they all grow up being nice people.
oh,
Because people used to say, "What do you tell your kids when they say what do you want me to be, Grandma?" And I said, "You tell them if they're nice people, then it
Be
it
what you
counts
do.
right through your life. You know, it sort of helping. I don't mean being all gushy and you know never shouting at them or anything, but you know it's just common sense a lot. Now I've got loads of common sense. I'm not clever, but I've got loads of common sense. There's a lot of things I can do. I can sew. I used to
good.
get my
Very good
sewing
sew.
machine out. I can't do it so
Oh.
much now.
That's a good skill to have,
Yeah,
isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Well, we
skill
were
that's-
taught at school, you see, and I can always
Yeah.
remember the teacher that taught me on the sewing machine, and she was lovely. She was a single lady. You can always remember your good teachers. I always remember a Mr. Dunn when I was 11, and then there was one named Mr. Tucker, who I fell in love with when I was about 14, and I didn't know until I'd left and grown up and gone to work that he was gay. Because, of course, he didn't talk about things in those days, and he was a lovely man, absolutely lovely man. So it's nice, you know, when you start talking about your life, little things come back what you'd forgotten.
Yeah.
Oh, I sometimes talk to
And I
the
can
kids
remember
about
the
things
day-
they think we're a million years old.
Yeah,
No, I love coming to talk. That's why I'm doing this.
yeah,
'cause
Yeah.
yeah.
It's nice to talk,
And the
and
Fred,
also I feel like we've probably nearly done the half an hour, but
has it gone that quick?
time flies and
Yeah.
we've
It
only
does,
scratched
yeah.
the surface.
Oh, Fred's always been a good one. I always call him my good one.
Oh,
Because, like I say, we were lucky to meet at this party, and it was the right time.
Right time for
Yeah.
And
it.
I very nearly didn't go. My cousin, my sister-in-law, because like I say, Fred had been in the national service for 2 years, and I thought, oh, I'm not going there to meet any more blokes, you know. But I'm glad I went, because like that, straight
our
away.
life would have been different.
Oh, so
Oh,
Had
so
you
much
not have
different.
gone.
I dread to think, actually.
Isn't it funny?
Yeah,
Oh, I don't know. Right.
if you're one of the lucky ones, hang on to it.
Oh, bless you.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I
Well-
guess you'll probably be going for your lunch in a minute.
Yeah, we
You
will.
don't want to be late for that.
No.
So just to finish up then, before I turn it off, what have you got one piece of advice that you'd give to the younger generation today?
Well,
Oh,
I think
that
talk
would
to
be
each
hard.
other. If you've got a problem, don't push it to one side and try and work it out yourself before you go rushing off to your parents. If you can't do it yourself, get the parents involved.
Oh, that's
But
great.
we were lucky, weren't we? I mean, obviously we had the out-on row, and a TV programme I sometimes think helped save our relationship, because I used to be a fiery redhead. Oh,
She did, yeah.
until I've never dyed my hair,
She had gorgeous hair.
and I had nice hair. I still have for my age, I suppose. But one day, and I thought I stormed out. I can't remember what I did then.
You went down to the village green and you were hiding behind a big
I was
tree.
hiding
I
from him to
remember.
make him suffer.
So I came looking for you and you wouldn't come out. You said,
I thought, no, you're not
"Oh,
finding
I'm
me
not
yet.
finding me yet. I'm
It was
still
only a little
stuck."
village we lived in. It was a lovely little village.
But she thinks that radio man, we had a bloke come to look at the telly and she had, so we had to be there. And she said, oh, it's a good job he came because I don't know where we'd have been.
No.
So we had to go home. And we had
I
to
think
make
we'd have
it
stayed
up.
together. We just
We've had his moments, obviously.
obviously you do, don't you?
I think if you don't have any arguments or any rows in your life, there's no
Boring.
fire either.
You don't progress.
So you've got to have some kind of a, release, and you do fall out sometimes, but not very often. We don't fall out anymore nowadays because we ain't got time to.
We ain't got time left.
You can't hear each other.
Can't hear each other. No, I've got my hearing aids.
That's a
in.
good way to
We
put
can't
it.
do it. Yeah, so.
I'm not bad with mine.
But
actually.
as regards
But
Advice? What advice would I give to young people?
I still think talking to each other.
Don't expect too much. You know, try and be happy. Pick out the best bits of what you've got. If, you know, it's so easy to think, oh, this time next year we'll be all right. This time next year we'll.
You do that when you're young.
And you're wasting time.
Yeah.
You're
Think
wasting
about
now.
right now. There is a saying that nobody's promised tomorrow. So if you're thinking, oh, we'll be all right this time, you know, but live for today, you know, and get the best out of every day if you can. Because other than that, I don't really know.
I think that's perfect.
Yeah.
And
Aw.
having the kids as well, it was hard, but Fred always went to work. Like I say, he went to
But
every day for 12 years.
it was. That's the best I could think of.
Aw,
And we
that's
try to
really
do that.
wonderful. Thank you.
Oh, you're
Okay,
welcome.
thank you.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Reminisce with Lauren Mann. We hope you enjoyed it, and we look forward to sharing our next episode with you soon.